welcome back. So today we were forecasted to have a cloudy day, maybe some rain, and I figured those are good conditions to come out and take, photos of waterfalls. And well, as you can see, it's a brightly lit sunny day today. So I figured I'd take this opportunity to take you guys out and we're going to photograph a waterfall, provided we can find it. And we're going to go over some of the things that should be used in conditions like this where it's really bright. We're going to be talking about ND filters, CPLs, tripods, shutter speed, ISO, and f-stops. So yeah, hang out with me today, and once we find this waterfall, we'll go over that stuff. Actually, a really nice day out here today. My GPS brought me, 4 miles away, which looked like it was the road leading in, but they had it closed, and so I had to find an alternative route. So I'm not 100% sure we're going the right way, but I know we're close. I know we are because I see it on the map. So I found a trailhead, and I'm going to see if we can make our way up to it. But what a beautiful day it is today. Yeah, I have no idea if I'll be mountain climbing today or not. I see a white dot, so we're on the trail for sure. But I don't know if it's moderate, easy. I don't know. We'll find out though. Pretty much got the place to myself too. Nobody's here. I'm right down the street, pretty much from another waterfall. Then when I got lost, I found that. It's in the area. I considered doing that, but I was there like a week ago, 2 weeks ago maybe. So I figured this would be the time to try out a whole different trail. But yeah, got the place to ourselves. Everybody's down at the other waterfall. Honestly, spring is right around the corner. Actually, we might already be into spring. I don't know, I think it's March 20th. I don't know. We'll see. Look at this. That's pretty wild. Pretty crazy how these trees can grow out of rocks. I'm not sure though, but I might have been here before. It's one of those trails. Every time I go out, well, I shouldn't say every time I go out, but sometimes when I go out, I find things. I think this is the trail I found a jacket on. It was an ugly jacket, but it was free. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna do some climbing. Allergies are kicking my butt today. So don't mind me if I get sleepy. I hear water, so we're definitely getting close. Wasn't that bad. Trail was pretty clean. So we're gonna go see Spirit Falls. It's another one in Massachusetts. And it sounds like the water's ripping pretty good. We had some rain the day before yesterday, I think. It's been raining on and off for a couple days. But I think it was Sunday we had pretty much a washout. All day it rained. So that should make for a good waterfall. Like I said, I hear it. Let's check it out. Yeah, so we're definitely on the right trail. Looks like we're going to be going down. Check this out. I guess we're starting from the top of the waterfall. I guess the other road must have led down to the bottom of it, but that's all right. It's pretty. Well, let's keep walking. Find this bad boy. Well, this is it here. This is Spirit Falls. And like I said earlier, I was afraid that was all going to be blown out. And the other unfortunate part is this is as high or as low as I can get. It looks like, unfortunately, everything's just blocking whatever trail there is. And it is super steep, so I'm not even gonna venture that much further than this. So we're gonna work with what we got. We're gonna try to make lemon juice out of lemons. This is one messy waterfall, and so honestly, since I've been here, this is the only composition that I can see worth setting a camera up for. I'm sure down there it's beautiful, but again, I'm not gonna venture down there, especially when this is, you know, so blown out. Not saying I couldn't get a nice photo, but you know, we're gonna work with it. I'm gonna start right here and see if I can get a composition set up right here. I see some framing. I do, however, like the trees up there, the little pines that are backlit. That's pretty cool. So this is definitely going to be something where I'm going to take multiple exposures. I'm going to underexpose like crazy, and I'm going to, you know, set a proper exposure, be able to blend those together. But let me set up and we'll go through everything together. All right, well, I just set up somewhat of a composition right now. I'll tweak it in a minute, but you can see here what I'm talking about. Right now it's completely overexposed, and I'm doing that on purpose so I can show you the highlights that are in the water itself versus everything around it. Granted, there are highlights that are blown out all around it as well, and right now I'm not working with an ND filter, so I'm going to expose it properly, and there you have it. So I'm shooting at, right now, it's 1/200th of a second at f11. My ISO is 800. I could actually bring that down to 100. That'll even darken it up. Let's readjust here. I wasn't aware it was down or up that high. Anyway, now we got 1/30th of a second, f11 at ISO 100. And it's not bad. This picture I would take only for the surrounding areas, you know, what's surrounding the waterfall, because this I could work with in Lightroom. So I'm just gonna take that shot, give you something to play with later. Make sure everything's set. I want autofocus, and I want my 2-second timer. And that's important too. When you're setting up your camera and you're looking for a longer shutter speed, as soon as you press that button, you don't want it to take a picture, because you're shaking that camera. Even though you can do it as gently as you think you can do it, but it's still going to shake that camera, and you're still going to get some blur somewhere in that photo. So 2-second timer, 5-second timer will allow the camera to, you know, calm down. And there's the photo. So you can see in this photo right here, let me bring it up. All the white that's in there is just it's blown out. I don't even have like this smooth texture I'm going for. I have this cool effect where it's kind of freezing some of the water in time, but that's because I have a fast shutter speed. And also, I mean, there's no way to recover these highlights once they're blown out. They're gone forever. If you underexpose it, those are a lot easier to recover. So why don't we just underexpose on purpose here? I'll 2 stops. Now that's really dark, obviously. But before I show you the picture, you can see how dark it is around the waterfall and how bright the waterfall is. It's like glowing in the dark. And here's the photo. Yes, the highlights are better. Not great. It'd still be a challenge to, recover some of those. And I still am not getting that shutter speed I'm really going for, which is, I'd like to get a quarter, an eighth, a sixth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a CPL filter right now and see if that will allow me to darken it up enough so I can play with my shutter speed and not lose everything. So let me put that on for you. All right, so I put on my CPL and it allowed me to darken it up by 1.3. So that, I can already tell you, it's not going to be enough. All right, there's a 15th of a second at f11. I don't really want to open up my aperture because what that does is it allows in more light, which I'll show you. If I bring it down, say f8. Now you see the picture is darker. I have to increase my shutter speed, which will even darken the picture more, which is what we want, but it's a faster shutter speed, and that's not what we're going for. So this CPL filter probably isn't going to work for us. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put on an ND filter and find what f-stop is going to work. So let me put that on for you. Well, let me show you this one real quick. This is just a screw-on type. This is a K&F concept. We got it on Amazon for like, I think it was like $40. I mean, there's really cheap ones out there, and there's really expensive ones out there. But I've had pretty good luck with the K&F concept. Pretty good. So let me put on the other one and show you what that's about. All right, so right here I put on an ND filter. And it's got several stops on it. It goes 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. So I can go down 32 stops with this. Simply this, switching this lever here. Right now I'm shooting 2, 4, 8, 16. So an ND 16 filter is giving me that 1/8 of a second I'm looking for. Let me show you in the back of the camera. Well, actually it's a 1/6 of a second rather. So you can still see that the highlights, they're still pretty blown out on this. So with these settings, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and increase my aperture, bring it up to f11. Now I have 1/3 of a second. But to me, that is a little dark. So I'm going to stick with a 1/6. Bring that back down to 8. And we'll darken that up. So I'm working at 1/5 of a second now. So you can see in the picture, again, the highlights are still kind of a problem, but not as bad as they were before. So I'm going to take this picture and we're going to check it out. All right, not bad, but the highlights are still crazy high, and I'll never be able to recover those in any software. They're just gone. So at this point, what I'm going to do, I'm going to underexpose it. Probably right about there. So 2 stops, I'm going to underexpose it. I'll take that photo. And let's check that out. Not really thrilled with that, because in doing that I increased my shutter speed to a 25th of a second. So instead of doing it that way, let's see if we can go down with our ISO a bit. Nope, that's not doing it. 100. I'm going to bring it back to f11. Alright, so now we're at f11. We'll take that shot. That's a third of a second. And we'll check that out. Let's see what that looks like. Not too bad, but I still have some areas that need to be darkened up. This one is like literally right in the sun. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to adjust my ND filter to the very last stop, which would be ND 32. And you can see it darkened up the photo. So now I got a, -0.7 exposure on my light meter. So I'm going to underexpose it, I think. Okay, by 1.7, that's on my light meter, -1.7, so just over a stop, almost 2 stops, and that gives me a 1/6 of a second. So we'll take that shot. Now this way, by adjusting the aperture, I'm still able to maintain a pretty slow shutter speed. I can't just do it with the ISO. In fact, I brought the ISO back up to 100, so let's check that out. And there you go. Those highlights they now show some texture. They have that silky smooth effect that I like in the water. And I can definitely work with that. Definitely work with that. So what I'll do with these two photos in Lightroom, Photoshop rather, I will actually blend them together so that I can paint in the highlights that are blown out. I'm kind of cheating in a way. So yeah, I can keep the surrounding area all good. I don't have to mess with that at all. I just layer the photo, with the darker highlights that I just took, and I can paint that right in there. And those two combinations should give me a pretty decent photo of this waterfall. And when I do play with it, when I do finish editing it, I'll put it up and you guys can check it out and let me know what you think. I wanted to go over some of the things that you guys are going to need if you're taking this type of photography. And you can spend a ton of money doing it. And you don't really have to either. One of my best friends is Amazon. And I picked up a couple filters out there. One was my ND filter. I think that was about $80, maybe $100. And it's got the different f-stops on it. I can adjust it. And it's been good to me. It's glass. It hasn't, shattered. I have dropped it, and luckily I didn't break it. I also have just a CPL, which is what I use most of the time when I'm doing these waterfalls. Today is just an example of, what to do when it's like way too bright and you can't use a CPL. The other thing you're going to need is a good tripod. Now, tripods out there can go for thousands of dollars. They can go for hundreds of dollars. You could go to Walmart, you could buy one for $40. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't suggest that. I spent $200 on mine, and it's a Benro. And I've had it going on 3 years now, and it's been in ice, it's been in mud, it's been in rivers, water. It's been dropped, thrown, used as a walking stick, used as a balancing pole. and it's held up. It's an aluminum tripod. It's pretty lightweight. I think it's just under, well, without a ball head, I think it's about 2 pounds or something like that. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, it's $200. I can change the feet to spikes, you know, in the winter time. I'll put my spikes on there. The other thing you're going to need is a good tripod. Not a tripod, but a ball head. Now, I've had ball heads. I've had some that come with some of the tripods that I have. And they're good. They're not bad until you use a long lens, like a zoom lens, which has a lot of weight to it. So my problem with those is, you know, once I have a composition set up and I go to tighten down the ball head, it would always move it, and it would just drive me nuts. And I wasn't willing to go out and spend hundreds of dollars on something that I know would cure it, but I'm not going to spend that kind of money. So what I did is I got a good geared head, and that's, again, it's a Benro, and it's a 3-axis geared head, and that solved that problem. I can zoom out as far as I want, and it's not gonna, I don't have to tighten it down. I just play with the axis, and it's fine. But for this type of photography, it's important, you know, if you're taking longer shutter speeds, that you want to be still as possible. You want to be still. So having the right gear helps. Because if you take a beautiful shot and it's the most perfect composition anybody's ever seen, but you've got this crappy little tripod and you just ruined it because, you know, a little breeze went through just as your shutter was open and it blurred out all the leaves around the waterfall, for example. You're gonna get home and look at that, and you're gonna be pissed off, quite frankly. I mean, it's happened. It's happened to me. But just a suggestion: go out and get yourself something halfway decent. You don't have to break the bank. I know this hobby is expensive enough. I mean, even go on Marketplace. You can find good tripods out there. People are just done with photography. They tried it and spent all the money in the world, and then they don't like it, and now they're just trying to get rid of it. You can find good deals that way too. But it's totally worth having the right gear. It totally is, especially if you're going for this type of photography here. Because you can't do it handheld. There's just no way you're going to get a 1/4 of a second shutter speed and be able to hold it still. You're just not going to be able to. The other thing too is when I got all my gear and my tripod and everything, not only waterfalls, but I was getting into astrophotography and having all that good stuff. Obviously, you don't need the ND filters for that, but you know, having a good tripod and a good geared head or a ball head helps me with that too. So, I mean, it's versatile. And like I said, I've used it as a walking stick, a balancing pole. So yeah, it's definitely versatile. So yeah, keep that in mind. I'll show you some examples of what I have, and you know, we'll talk later. That is what I gotta climb. And I'll be honest with you, that's why I didn't go all the way down, because it already looks sketchy. And yeah, I gotta climb that. So yeah, I think I'm gonna sit here for a minute, build up some energy, and then make a run for it. Wish me luck. I love this stuff. It doesn't matter. I love this stuff. I love it. Oh, man. Ooh, not digging it. Not digging it. How do goats do this? Ugh. Ugh. Don't want to fall. Ooh, yeah. Oh, we gotta stay on the yellow. Let's not get lost. Where's the yellow? Oh, man. I didn't think I went down that far. Ooh. Man. God, I love hiking. Who put this stump here? I found something on the way up that was pretty cool. Let me show you. These little ice formations on that stick there. It's a nice warm day, and we're not going to get too many chances to get photos like this. But not 30 seconds ago, the sun was shining right through that, and it looks so cool. So I think I'm going to sit here. I'll set up my camera, sit here for a minute, see if that sun will come back and light those up. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And I may be able to do something here. I'm looking at something. Let me show you. I could use that as part of a composition. Going right up there. So yeah, let me set up, take a minute, and of course I will get back to you. Okay, for this one we don't have a bad composition here at all, not half bad at all. I like this ice. Obviously I was just talking about it, but I wanted to incorporate it into this little runoff here, a waterfall. And you know, as I was earlier, having a lot of problems with the highlights. So I was playing around with it a little bit. I'll show you what I ended up doing. I'll get this glare off for you. So right now I put on my ND, my adjustable ND filter, and I have it set to, I got it on ND4, which is 4 stops of light. And I wanted to shoot it at an f11 aperture. I wanted to keep my aperture closed a little bit, you know, to cut off some of the light, because I'm going for that slower shutter speed again. And I was able to get this here at 1/5 of a second. And I'll take this shot and let you see how it looks. All right. So now in this picture, you can see the ice looks great. I love the way it looks. Hopefully it's not blurry for you. I love the way the ice looks. It's really lit up pretty good. I can increase the shadows on that. Dodge and burn, it'll look great. But you can see the problem here is the waterfall itself. The waterfall is just blown out. That's right where the sun is hitting it. Right there. So at 1/5 of a second, that's just allowing too much light into the camera. And it's gonna blow out all the highlights. So what I ended up doing is decreasing, or actually readjusting my ND filter, ND16, and I'm not doing anything else. I'm underexposed by 1.7, but I still have 1/5 of a second. So I'm still gonna get that smooth effects in the water. So let me take that shot. We'll check that out. Now you can see here, that's more workable. The texture's there. There's a little bit of a highlight issue, but that's not a big deal. It's not blown out. It's close, but it's not completely blown out. So I can work with that. And if I wanted, I can go up a little bit, all the way up to ND32. That'll give me 2 stops, or I'm sorry, -2 on my light meter. And I'm still at 1/5 of a second, so I'll still get that texture. So let me show you that. Now you can't see anything around that because I just shut down most of the light. But you can see, I'm sorry, you can see how I tamed this down a little bit. Now what I'll end up doing with those 2 photos, possibly 3 photos, is bringing them right into Lightroom. There's my first one. This will be my base layer in Lightroom. And what I'll do is I'll have this one underneath it and I'll paint that in. So that way I'll have this and I'll paint that right into there. It's it's kind of cheating, but I mean, I could also paint this in. So if I paint this in, it's not taming it down enough, I'll just drag that in there and I'll use that. This is why filters are so important, because you see a composition like this, you want to take the picture. So, I mean, you could always come back a different day. Today was supposed to be cloudy, so I wanted to get out here. But then when the sun came out, I figured it was an opportunity to talk to you guys about ways of taming down the highlights in waterfalls when you have a day like this. But, you know, you're out here, you see a picture you want to take, and it's sunny, and you have filters. It's totally doable. You can do it. It takes a little more work, a little more thought, but it's totally doable. And if you have editing software like, you know, Photoshop, you can totally make a composite photo, which, I mean, technically they are pictures that you took, so it's not really a fake picture. It's not like you're putting an alligator in the water or something. But yeah, so that's another example. We're going to keep going up this mountain, and again, if I see anything else, I'll get back to you. Well, I was completely going in the wrong direction. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people complain about all trails, but I refer to it because I have kind of like cookie crumb set up. I downloaded the map and it got me back on trail. So that brings me to a good point. You should always have something with you, whether it's your phone, all trails. I have this little GPS thing here that I also have tracking me, and that will also show me breadcrumbs back to where I started. But at the very least, you should let somebody know where you are. So if they don't hear from you, you know, in a safe amount of time, I guess, they'll at least know where to come looking for you. But yeah, you're not here alone in the woods. You're not invincible. You can break a leg. You can end up out here alone, slowly dying. But in all seriousness, you should have something with you. You should tell somebody where you're going. So I'm thankful that All Trails was tracking me, because who knows where I would have ended up. Wouldn't be the first time. Well, here's a cool little scene. You know, this is going to look much, much better when all the leaves are grown in. But right now, this is actually kind of pretty. I was just checking it out, thinking maybe I could use this. I think it's a silver birch as a leading line. Yeah, I think I'm gonna mess around with this a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll take some photos of this using the same principles we've been talking about, and if they're any good, let you check them out and let me know what you think. you know, you always want to come out with your gear and experiment. Don't be afraid to turn a dial, push a button. Don't be afraid of that. You know, you're never going to learn unless you screw up. So I'm going to get going here. If I see something on the way back, of course, I'll stop and share it with you. But if not, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you get something out of this. Remember to like and subscribe. It's free. It certainly helps me. And until next time, we'll see you later.